I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. On January 21st, 1980, in what I thought was a brilliant financial move, I bought gold. It was at an all-time high then of $873 an ounce, which is a staggering $3,580 an ounce in today's dollars. Now fast forward 45 years. Gold's on a tear. It's priced at just over $3,000 an ounce at the time I recorded this. It needs to rise another 16% to reach its inflation-adjusted record at which I bought it. And many analysts think it might just get there. What's driving this gold rally? I think the same thing that drove it in 1980, fear. Back then, the U.S. was grappling with rising inflation, double-digit price increases, and interest rates in the high teens. Investors feared that the dollar and the stock market would collapse, that their hard-earned savings would erode into oblivion, and that gold was a safe haven. Sound familiar to you? Today, inflation is less dramatic, and the stock market would have to go a long way to even register as a bear market. But it's still a major concern. Central banks are buying gold at record levels, and gold-backed ETFs, which had been seeing years of outflows, are finally pulling investors back in. For most, gold isn't just an investment. It's an emotional hedge against uncertainty. Back in 1980, I wasn't thinking about long-term strategy. I was reacting to fear. Inflation had hit 14%, and like many other folks, I was convinced that the dollar would soon be worthless. Gold, in my thinking, was my best shot at preserving wealth. Now the problem is that inflation eventually cooled. It had dropped to an average of 3.5% by the mid-1980s. Gold prices tumbled along with it. Investors who, like me, bought at the peak, 45 years later, still haven't broken even on an inflation-adjusted basis. If I had stuck with a well-diversified portfolio, I likely would have fared much better over time. Over the years, I've come to realize that our financial decisions aren't just about numbers. They're deeply influenced by our internal financial system. And that's an internal framework that helps explain why we handle money the way we do. Now I see that my decision to buy gold was a battle between different financial parts of myself. There was one part that panicked, convinced that money was about to become worthless. Another part saw gold prices soaring and didn't want to miss out, FOMO. Yet another part convinced me that buying at the peak was still a smart move because of course we didn't think it was the peak. Now, had I paused and examined these internal voices, I might have made a different decision. My gold purchase shows why emotionally driven investment decisions rarely lead to great financial outcomes. Instead of asking, is gold a smart long-term investment? I was asking, how do I make sure that I don't lose everything? Now, these are two very different questions. If you're thinking about buying gold, I would urge you to consider these questions. Number one, am I investing from a place of fear or strategy? If you're rushing in because you're scared of inflation, you're scared of a stock market collapse, or you're scared of anything, pause and reassess. Another one is, how does gold fit into my broader financial plan? Now, gold can be a great hedge if held in appropriate amounts in a diversified portfolio. And I would suggest to you it's best viewed as catastrophic financial insurance rather than an investment. Another question is, am I reacting to headlines or making a well thought out decision? The financial media loves a good gold rally. But remember, markets move in cycles. Today's rally may be history repeating itself. Back in 1980, fear persuaded me that gold was a sure thing. I forgot an essential caveat. There are no sure things in investing. If bad market timing were an Olympic sport, I'd taken home the gold for least profitable performance. Thanks for listening.